Hello, welcome back to We Are City channel, to the beginning of Season 2 of our FC 26 career mode with Manchester City. The first season went pretty well, didn't it? We started the season maybe not as strong as we thought we would. We went on to finish the season with a Premier League title and a Carabao Cup trophy to our name. And going into the new season, our budget is looking pretty good, isn't it, from the previous season? Because you can see there that we had 442.5 pretty much million euros in profit made by the club, and that is going to be our transfer budget this season. We can't actually spend more than our budget. Our weekly budget is around 145 million euros a week on I think that is just on wages or something like that anyway, but our budget is nice and big for this season. I don't think we're going to spend it all because I don't think we need that many big additions to the squad. We're looking at the squad that we've got already. Marcus Bettinelli out of contract. I'd like to get him a new deal. James Trafford didn't play enough games, so he's in the list of possible departures away from the side. We've got Jumabara on loan. The intention is to loan him out again. The same goes for Jamai Simpson-Puzet. Those two who have had pretty decent loans. I mean, Jumabara is way ahead in his development schedule, really, than the others because he's 77 rated. Max Alane, the intention is to loan him out. Again, we'll go and play some football somewhere else. I mean, his stats look brilliant. Good pace, good physical, good defending, and his passing's up high as well. Vita Hayes, the intention is for him to be part of the first team squad. I mean, Pep Guardiola, I think, sees him as a player that can do that. He's had a really good season at Girona away on loan, so that's the intention for him. John Stone's out of contract at the end of the season. He proved his fitness, didn't he? He really proved his fitness throughout the season, played really well, and I think for that reason we might extend his contract. Nathan Ake didn't play enough games for his liking, and the intention is to let him move on away from the club, both into their plus 30s now, Stones and Ake. Kanji will try and get a permanent deal. I think they will accept a permanent deal. Will Inter to take him permanently away from Manchester City. That's the defensive situation that we've got. Moving on, we also have Mikhail Samuel. Intentions to him to be loaned out once again for the season. Issa Kabore, who is at Wrexham, the intention is for him to be sold permanently. 25 years of age now, he shouldn't be around the City side. We've also got Sissoko out on loan. The intention is to probably let him go permanently. The midfield might need some changing. Mateo Kovacic, 32 years of age. Is he time up at Manchester City? Is it time to let him move on, bring in a younger player, someone who's sort of an all-action midfielder? Bernardo Silva's contract's up, and we know that he will be leaving the club. 7MILLION, who's sort of like a Bernardo Silva, Kovacic, futuristic player, I suppose, the future to play that role. The intention is to loan him back out again. I think a loan away from the club makes sense. Luis played 14. Now, we had to play 15 to stay at the club, but I think that threshold, we said of 15, we're going to keep Rico Lewis around because he did play 14 games. He's actually very happy with those 14 games he did play. We've also got Claudio Echeverri. The intention is for him to be out on loan again next season. Not the best of loans by Leverkusen. It hasn't worked out for the Argentinian, but he's got big hopes to be in Pep Guardiola's plans. He's a very high potential young player. Ndala will be sold permanently or out on loan again, and the same goes for Jack Grealish. There's no intention of bringing Grealish back. His time at City is over. Whether Everton make that permanent or not is up to them. And Devin Mavama, he will also be leaving the club, probably on loan. Manu Akanji's made a permanent move to Inter. He's made that move permanent. 15 million euros when his market value is 25. They had an agreement of 15. So that is a move away from Manchester City for him. And interesting enough, there's interest shown in him from Villa and Liverpool, but I can't see either of those making signs from him. Here is the departure of Bernardo Silva, who leaves on a free transfer away from Manchester City. City's captain, one of City's biggest players, was massive again for us last season. Everything he offers, it's going to be very hard to replace him. I think we might need to go and get two players to replace him, and Kovacic, a right winger and a central midfielder. Bernardo Silva leaves on a free transfer, returns to AS Monaco. And in terms of transfer targets, I mean, one that we were looking at for this summer massively was Tino Livramento, but I'm happy with the right back situation with Nunes Kusanov and also El Hilali. So we're going to look more at the defensive side of improving the team. We know that we're probably going to offer John Stones a new contract, but Ousmane Diomande could be a good option if we don't do. And of course, we've got to look at replacing Nathan Ake unless Vita Hayes can do that role coming back from his loan. But Diomande is high on my list, higher than Alexandro, who's a left footer, and maybe losing Ake, we need to look for a left footer. He's a more experienced, older player than Diomande. But I think Diomande statistically looks better. Got that physical stats that we really do like, very quick, which I think playing a high line, playing expensive football is needed. Another player at Sporting as well is Goncalo Inacio, 24 years of age now. He is a left footer. He is 6'1". He's got good defending, good physical, good dribbling, good passing. Actually, maybe he's more stylistically a Pep Guardiola defender. But Diamande's physical attributes cannot be ignored. Castello Luqueba is on the list as well, but I'm leaning towards probably Diamande and Gerard Branthwaite as well. The Everton man, 6'5". He looks like a good replacement for John Stones, perhaps next season, not quite yet. And we also have other sort of England international players there. I mean, Mark Guy could be a good option. He's been linked with City, but a move to Liverpool looks pretty likely. And also Nico Schlotterbeck, who's one of the best defenders you'll see on the ball, but off the ball, and also very expensive. 87 rated. Do we need him when we've already got Joško Gvardiol? On to midfield options to replace Mateo Kovacic and Bernardo Silva. We're looking for a winger and a midfielder. Adam Wharton could be an option. We've signed him before in a career mode. I mean, incredible passer of the ball. But his pace, his shooting is quite low. His physical's not so high either. I don't know if you want maybe a more physical midfielder. Angelo Stiller of Stuttgart could be an option. The German's been very good, 84 rated already, so he'd come in as a ready-made Kovacic, Bernardo Silva replacement, money in the central midfield. He would compete with Cherki, Foden, Nico, Rodri and Reinders for that role. We only need one midfielder and he's certainly an option. I mean, if you're looking for a more physical option than Angelo Stiller, who's much more of a passer, a man with really well-rounded stats there is Carlos Baleba. I mean, great physical, great defending, great dribbling, but his passing's top, his shooting's decent and his pace is good as well. I mean, the only issue that comes around Carlos Baleba is the price. His price tag is going to be over 100 million from Brighton. Then we have Elliot Anderson, who has been one of the standout performers in the Premier League. English, which is great to try sort of build up our homegrown quota. He's only 23. Brilliant dribbling, brilliant passing. He's physical and defending are on the up as well. Pace is decent. His shooting's quite low. But I think he could be the most favourable option in that position because of his quality. He's a real all-rounder like Baleba. He's going to be cheaper and he's an England international as well, which is massive. And then sort of a cheaper option, someone who could come in and be very much sort of a Lucas Paquetá player that City wanted all those years ago in Gabriel Sara. He's been linked with Manchester City. He's playing in Turkey. 80 dribbling, 84 passing, so he's got the technical stats we want. Actually, his physical stats are pretty good as well. Good shooting. Defensive side of the game is poor, and maybe he's not the all-rounder that maybe we are looking for in that midfield, but still, I mean, those stats are pretty impressive. Now to the right side, if you look for a right winger or someone who can play for the left as well when needed. Magnus Alkeush. Alkeush is the man who plays for Monaco, impressed against us in the Champions League this season. Scored a really good individual goal. His stats I really am impressed with. I like his height. Physically he's quite low, but that doesn't bother me. He is stylistically a bit of a Bernardo Silva player. The only issue that surrounds him really is pace. I think we want more pace. I mean, the number one option on that right hand side would be Michael Elise. Whether Bayern let him go for under sort of 130 million euros is the question. I mean, that is a lot of money for a player, but look at that, 88 dribbling, passing, shooting. He's already worth 105 million euros. It would count as a homegrown player, I do believe, as well. But I think that is a lot of money to spend on Michael Elise. City had the opportunity to spend big on Elise before, and they decided against it. And it looks like a more realistic option could be that of Antoine Semenyo. Fantastic season playing at Bournemouth. He can play off that right side or the left. We can swap him and Savinho, which I quite like about that. He's right footed, gets a 5-star weak foot. It's great with both feet, and he's a very physical force. He's a good goal scorer. He's a good creator. I think him and Doku could really complement each other in the wide areas. He's definitely number 2 option if we can't pick up Michael Elise. Another one is Bradley Barcola, but I think looking at Barcola, he likes to play off the left. Savinho seems to be finding his feet on the left a little bit. So does Jeremy Doku. So I don't see room for Bradley Barcola. And also Paris Saint-Germain, why would they want to lose a 23-year-old Frenchman who is developing towards being at the top of his game? Also, he's not that good of a finisher. So it's sort of similar issues that City wingers have already. And looking at players and like saying this man could be the perfect Bernardo Silva replacement, Francisco Trincao just feels like the most archetypal Bernardo Silva player there is. He's a lot quicker than Bernardo Silva, but he just got a lot of his sort of game to his. Can play striker as well if needed, which we wouldn't really use him there. But look at his finishing, really good finishing, really good dribbling, ball control. His play styles are fantastic as well. And if we are going to look for someone that is a Bernardo Silva player completely, I think Francisco Trincao can play on the right, can play through midfield. Seems like very much Bernardo Silva. And speaking of like the players that we've got to make decisions on, we've signed Marcus Bettinelli under a 2-year deal, so a 2-year contract extension for Marcus Bettinelli. He's going to be sticking around as our third choice goalkeeper for the significant future. And he's not the only one, because Hugo Viana has agreed a contract extension with John Stones, a 2-year extension for the England international. He has proved his fitness this season. He's been fantastic for us with his fitness. He's played so many games for Manchester City, but we're going to try and negotiate this one, try and get him maybe on a bit of a lower one. So rotation role for John Stones, but he wants important. I mean, he is 84 rated. We'll have to accept it. His length of his contract now, we're going to try and get him on a 1-year deal. I think maybe that's probably better if we get him on a 1-year deal than a 2-year deal. I think 2 years might be too long. So we'll sign him down to a 1-year deal. We'll give him what he has in real life. We're trying to create a realistic wage structure, €200,000 per week, about £180,000 per week. John Stones agrees it. He signs a new deal at Manchester City. He's sticking around for 1 more year. Bernardo goes. Stones is going nowhere. He will be a Manchester City player for 1 more season. And with the fitness quality, he's shown that he can stay fit. He's proven it. And now into pre-season. We're looking towards our pre-season tournament. I'm going to decide to play this one here with our sister club Melbourne City in there. €5.5 million in that Invitational Cup. And you can see the City players there confirming their participation in the Invitational Cup, joining Melbourne Victory. Also Barcelona as well. And some transfer news around the world of football. Big one really is Lois Openda moving from RB Leipzig to Brentford. That would be a big deal. And also Humyand of Sporting. He could be on his way to AFC Bournemouth. Well, Joshua Nesbrand is one of our youth players who leaves the club. €4 million profit made from his transfer away from the club. And also Finley Burns, 2 players who actually made debuts in the same season. He's going to Stoke City on a permanent deal for $1.2 million. Now, in terms of our youth system, we are looking to sort of bring in a holding midfielder. City really lacking a holding midfielder in the youth system. Someone who's a midfielder for the future. A 19-year-old Mirza Katovic is really stuck out to City. He's been linked to Manchester City. He's been approached by us now. He's got an 82 potential, or 76 between 82. Serbian midfielder who City do see as having a really high potential and someone who can develop his game through our youth system and then out on loan. Whether he's sold for profit or whether he works well at Manchester City, we don't know, but we do agree a €1.2 million deal, and he will be our first signing of the transfer window. It's not a big signing, it is a future signing. Like we've always said, we have to make signs for the future. That is one of the decisions we have made amongst ourselves and with our objectives. If a player, we need to sign 2 players every window for the future. City like to do that in real life. That happens regularly, doesn't it, Manchester City? So Katovic is the man we decide to bring in. €1.2 million is hardly a big risk at all for a fee for a young midfielder, only 19 years of age. And the intention is for him to play in the youth system this year, maybe get a few games in the Cup, and then we'll look towards his development, whether it's a loan in January, maybe next season. But welcome to Manchester City, Mirza Katovic. What a signing he could be for the future. And there is more confirmation of Bernardo Silva's move to AS Monaco. A free transfer. Sophia Davis has been breaking the news. That is a big move away, isn't it, really? And to go back to Monaco and not Benfica is a bit of a surprise. Maybe he's going to do that in a reverse action as we flick through some players that we've loan listed and so on and give options to. And there it is, more on Bernardo Silva, because there is lots to talk about him. The medical done, it's sealed. That is a really big transfer. I mean, the captain of Manchester City going back to Ligue 1 to play for Monaco. Could he lead them ahead of Paris Saint-Germain to a league title once again? Well, that'd be very difficult, wouldn't it? And Issa Kabore is leaving the club now. €9 million move to Lazio. Instead, he has a good move for him. Joel Ndala will join Sheffield United with an option to buy and the end of his loan back in the Championship. And we've had an offer for James Trafford. He's one of the players that we said is hugely uncertain from Chelsea. Loan to buy. No, we will not accept that, Chelsea. He's going nowhere to them. And City being linked with Taratti as an option to replace James Trafford, says Fabrizio Romano. Sisso's moved to Sheffield United, another move from us to them. This transfer window, €2.4 million. And the goalkeeper situation is something we do need to talk about, because with James Trafford looking like he does want a loan move away from the club, these options, Marc-Andre ter Stegen and Naki Pena is on the list of possible goalkeeping options. Remember, they're only going to be a backup option to Gianluigi Donnarumma. No one is getting ahead of the world's #1. And Pena seems like a pretty decent option. I mean, I've got a list of so many goalkeepers here. One that's been linked with City in the past is Michael Zertera, now at Frankfurt. Release clause around €10 million. You have to remember as well, we do have a rule that we can't spend more than so much money on a player over 30. So that would mean anyone be aged between 28 and 30, we could only spend up to €10 million or €50 million, I think it can be. Anyone over 30, then we can only get them on a free transfer. So someone like Jan Sommer, 37 years of age, 86 rated, whether he's needed into, I don't know, but we'd have to try and sign him on a free transfer, and that would be very difficult. So I think it's going to be a difficult task to try and identify a backup goalkeeper. Maybe we let Trafford leave on loan, because I don't intend to sell him. I want him there for the future of the club. Maybe let him leave on loan, and then we look towards bringing a short-term goalkeeper, Geronimo Rui, who's actually been a Manchester City goalkeeper in the past, never actually made an appearance for us. He's an option as well. I've got so many experienced goalkeepers here from around the world of football. It's going to be difficult to really identify the man to be the replacement for Trafford, but once he's gone, we'll have to move fast in the market, maybe make some moves, talk to some of these agents, and sound out who he's willing to move as second-choice goalkeeper at Manchester City. I mean, another one, Augusto Batalla. Statistically, he's very similar from what I've seen to, of course, Donnarumma in a way, so he could be a really good option because of that. We're looking at transfer targets. I did want to look at sort of their potential and also their statistics from last season as well. Michael Olise has got an 88 to 89 potential. He's already 88 rate, so he's at the top of his development, isn't he? In Bundesliga last year, he got 6 goals and 5 assists. That isn't really setting the world alight. And total stats, 50 games for Bayern last season, so clearly his fitness isn't an issue for the 24-year-old. But 8 goals and 7 assists isn't a massive return for a player that Bayern are going to be asking for over 130 million euros for. Antoine Semenyo, he has been really good at Bournemouth. What his stats are, I don't know. He's only got an 85 potential, they say. But I'm sure with performances, top performance for Manchester City, we can get him to 85, 86 rated and make him a real key player of this City side. He's further along his development than Michael Olise, but we have to remember development isn't linear. Development is not linear at all, and it can change. Players sort of find their feet later in their career. Semenyo had 8 Premier League goals last season, which is decent off the wide area. Only 1 assist, so not as creative as you want. That was pretty much his whole tally, really, but 39 games played. There is something about Semenyo being a Premier League proven player that sways me towards him. I know Olise probably is the favourite option. He's my favourite option, but trying to get Michael Olise out of Bayern Munich might be very, very difficult for the price they want as well, and maybe Semenyo is the other option. And the other one, of course, is Magnus Alkeush as well. He's there, probably our top 3 for that wide position, and he's actually sort of very high on my list. He really impressed me last time he played against in the Champions League. 83 to 89 potential. I think there's no worry about him reaching that potential at Manchester City. He does have the Bernardo Silva quality as we look to bring in a wide player and a central midfielder. I mean, statistically, I don't know how many goals he got. 83 dribbling is good. He's not the quickest, though, is he? He's not the quickest. I mean, Semenyo's a lot quicker. And also, you look at someone like Florian Wirtz, for example. How are they going to sort of match up to the physicality of the Premier League? Sometimes that is something you have to think about. With only 63 physical for Magnus Alkeush, that does worry me slightly. I mean, 5 assists, he's more creative than the other players, really, in a sense. Only 1 goal, though. I'd like to get a player with more goals from the wide areas. 7 assists and 4 goals so far in the season, or what he had last season in 47 appearances. He's not amazing numbers, but he's decent enough for a player who's 24. But he's the same age as Olise. I think he's much further behind in his development. He's only 2 years behind Semenyo, and I think Semenyo is actually a better player already as well. So that sort of sways me towards those 2 over Alkeush. But the thing is, I'd be happy to have either of those 3 in the Manchester City side going into Season 2, because they're all 3 really top quality players. On to the defenders now, as we look to sort of replace Ake and Stones for the future. Maybe this is a sort of preemptive look towards John Stones' replacement for the future, because we've already decided that Stones is staying. We've given him a 1-year contract extension. Diamante's got an up to 89 potential. There's no point looking at his stats, because I think from what I know, he's not looking good, but he's out of contract in 12 months as well, which might mean we could get him on a cut price deal in the future, actually even on a free transfer come the end of the season. Gerard Brantwaite is the option in English international as well, 82 to 88 potential, not quite got the same stats as Diamande, but he's a left footer, so maybe both come in at some point in the future, depends, you know, maybe Ruben Diaz doesn't stay around forever. Then the questions amongst Gerard Brantwaite is, I mean, he's 6'5", he looks a top defender. The questions over him are his fitness, because he has spent a lot of time injured, hasn't he, for Everton. He seems to pick up a lot of ankle injuries, hamstring injuries, maybe because he's such a big man. Hopefully City's medical department could sort him out in the way Erling Haaland did, but Erling Haaland ran him ragged, actually, in the Premier League last season. I don't think Diamande had that big of an impact against us. He had a poor game against us as well when we faced off against Sporting in the Champions League. And thinking about Gerard Brantwaite in terms of his fitness, we can have a look at his stats and see that he actually played 36 games last season for Everton in the Premier League. So he only missed 2 Premier League games down to injury, 5 clean sheets in that time, played 41 games across the season. So those stats look pretty promising if you ask me. And also we have Gonzalo Ignacio as well. I think he's probably number 3 on the list. I think it's Diamande, Branthwaite and Ignacio. He's a left footer as well, 24 years of age. His stats look great. I mean, he's a Portuguese international. Hugo Viana will know him very well, City Sporting Director, from his time at Sporting, as he does with Diamande, the players that he's already identified in the past as being good enough for the Sporting first team. I look at that and think probably Branthwaite and Diamande are my options, but again, Ignacio, 12 months on his deal, could actually sign him on a free transfer come the end of the season. That would be amazing if we could do that. And on to the midfielders now, as we look to replace Kovacic, Bernardo Silva with that winger and central midfielder. And Elliot Anderson is maybe number 1 option. 82 to 87 potential, only 23 years of age, can play holding midfield, can play central midfield. Those stats are so well rounded, it really does excite me. City did try to do some business with Nottingham Forest in terms of Morgan Gibbs-White last season, and the end City decided on Ryan Shaqiri. But Elliot Anderson's a different player. I think Forest would do business with Manchester City if we had to. His role in the side would be that of a backup to Tajani Reinders, and he would share it with Rico Lewis as well, but playing in midfield. I mean, he got 6 goals and 5 assists in 38 Premier League games. He played every Premier League game. Availability, check. 6 goals and 5 assists from holding midfield. I think that is a really, really good return from a midfielder. And I mean, and that really, those stats do start to sway me towards Elliot Anderson. I do like the look of him. 55 games all season, 8 goals and 6 assists. I mean, from holding midfield in 55 games as well. Availability is certainly one of his strong points. And amongst the 2 other top midfielders up there with him is Adam Wharton. Very similar, I suppose, to Anderson in terms of a Premier League proven player, an English international, 21 years of age. Wharton, 22 years now. So a little bit older than Anderson. A little bit smaller, a little bit shorter as he are, a little bit taller actually, I'm not quite sure. Not quite the physical presence, but I would say on the ball, he's a different player, a better passer, and I think he can play a holding role as a singular sort of pivot, lone 6 a lot better. I mean, his stats aren't anywhere near as good as we saw Elliot Anderson. He played a lot less games, nearly 20 less games than Wharton. 3 goals and 1 assist in that time, and that really does sort of make me think that Elliot Anderson would be the best option if we are looking to make a move for midfield to replace Kovacic in the future, and of course Bernardo Silva as well. A bit of an out there option that we mentioned in terms of our shortlist is Gabriel Sara of Galatasaray. I mean, his stats look promising. Yes, he's older. He's one linked with City. It would be a cheaper sort of short-term option. I think if we say brought in Michael Elise for big money, then we'd look at bringing in Gabriel Sara on a cheaper deal than spending maybe 60-70 million on Elliot Anderson or Adam Wharton. One more transfers away from the club. Siltanen returns to Leicester City in the Championship on a 12-month loan deal, and he's not the only one leaving the club. Seven Naipan, he joined Stade Rennais for a 12-month loan. Ligue 1, a good place for him to develop. And this is interesting because it is time for one of our unexpected events in this series, or whether it is one of the unexpected events, I'm not quite sure. Inside Access, an important production company, wants to film your team throughout this year's competition. It's a bit like the Amazon documentary, or the documentaries Manchester City make. Whether it's going to be made into a film that goes to the cinema and so on, we're not quite sure. Consider potential benefits between making a decision on how it puts pressure on the players, apparently. So we can approve the documentary, or no documentary allows. A no documentary, they say no, the player in the club won't be happy. Or give full access, this could be huge for the entire club, means the decision will be scrutinised by millions. And one confirmed move away from the club now is Matteo Kovacic, who makes a €50 million move to Roberto De Zerbi's Marseille in Ligue 1. And we are looking at a midfielder. We've picked our midfielder. Elliot Anderson has been agreed with Manchester City. City agreed to pay €70 million for Nottingham Forest man. Statistically, he looked like the best player to be a Manchester City midfielder. We've compared him to other midfielders, Manchester City former midfielders, other midfielders on our list as well. And stats-wise, Elliot Anderson comes out, in my eyes, on top of everything. And that is why we made a move for him. He has been rumoured as the Johnny Maradona when he played for Newcastle. He didn't want to get rid of him. They had to get rid of him due to PSR reasons. He left the club. He's joined Manchester City. He probably will wear the number 8 shirt. Elliot Anderson, welcome to Manchester City in a £70 million or €1 deal. And also worth mentioning why we just complete that deal, the World Cup is going on, so we've got lots of players playing international duty. You can see here France actually finished 3rd in their group, Ireland ahead of Mexico, Hungary going out there, Norway and Portugal going through, Haaland's side doing really well, England finishing 3rd in their group as well. There's not been the big clubs performing in this 2026 World Cup in the United States. United States finished 3rd. They do go through just ahead of Wales, on goal difference purely. And you've got Argentina and Italy going through as well in the same group. Interesting. So let's get back into odds. Elliot Anderson anyway. So we are going to play him more as a playmaker, a box-to-box, a deep-line playmaker. We're going to sort of train him to be a box-to-box player, I think, because he has got the energy to do both. But a box crasher does suit him as well. And I quite like that because he is going to play more of a holding midfield role for the side throughout the season. The new number 8 for Manchester City, and look at those stats. I mean, his stamina is brilliant. He can really get around the football pitch. His availability is fantastic as well. I do think we've got sort of a future superstar midfielder there. He's only 23. I mean, Tijani Reinders is 28. So there's a bit of a gap between those two. Elliot Anderson can take over that role seamlessly, learning from the Dutchman, learning from Rodri and other City players in that side. Another offer now for James Trafford on loan. This time Newcastle nearly signed him. We're not letting him go to Newcastle either. They're a rival. Newcastle and Chelsea can't have him, but if he wants to leave on loan, perhaps that is a deal we're going to have to accept at some time. Djibouba is going to get a Premier League experience loan as well, because he's going on loan to Aston Villa for the season. That is a really good move for him. And we're going to end the episode here. And we're going to end the episode looking at Michael Olise, because what we're going to do is, before we go into the next episode, which will be coming very soon, of course, we're going to make an offer for Michael Olise. We're going to make a fair offer for the Bayern's man. I mean, look at the stats. He's ridiculous. 91 vision, 90 agility. Good stamina as well for that right-hand side. Reactions are high. Statistically, he's everything we want. We're going to make a €100 million plus offer for Michael Olise. Now, Bayern reportedly want 160, 150 million euros to let the Frenchman go. They're trying to tie him down to a new contract. His stats are ridiculous. His performance level is amazing. And he would be a mainstay on that right-hand side. My only issue is I think that he can only play off that right-hand side. Semenyo could play off that left or the right. He's very versatile in that sense. This man Olise isn't. But we are going to end the episode making an offer for Michael Olise. 100 million euros plus is the offer we're going to make. We're going to see what Bayern say. But if it doesn't work for Olise, then I think Antoine Semenyo is option number 2. Thank you for watching. Please like the video already. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. We'll debate between those two as offers go in, maybe even for both. We'll see who comes out on top in our debate, who comes out on top and who we should sign, who can be a Manchester City player for the future. And look at those physical stats, by the way, on Semenyo. Absolutely incredible. You can vote for your player of the episode in the future. Obviously, no player of today's episode, but pre-season starts the next one. Some more signs happening after the signing of Anderson, and so much more to come. I'm excited for season 2 as Pep Guardiola goes for more trophies, more success, and hopefully some more real entertainment in this series. Olise could be a Manchester City player come the next episode. We'll see you guys next time.